Let's face it, nobody really likes debt collectors. So the last person you might expect to be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize would be the head of a debt collection company. But that's what happened. And tonight's To The Point 2 News anchor Russ McCaskey sits down with Tulsa businessman Bill Bartmann to find out how he is trying to change one of the most hated industries in the world.
And we welcome in Tulsa businessman Bill Bartmann. Thanks for being with us today.
Russ, it's my pleasure to be here.
Obviously, you've been in the spotlight now for probably the last decade or so. But let's talk a little bit about your current business right now, because you have really kind of turned things around, and you have CFS2, a debt collection company. You're not only doing some good business, but you're also helping people. Tell me a little bit about what it is that you're doing for those people who don't know.
Well, thank you, Russ. And we are. We have realized that the people who are in debt, the people we come in contact with, really aren't behind in their bills because they want to be. They aren't behind in their bills because they're lazy. They're behind their bills because they got washed up in this economic tsunami. And so our employees came to me and they said, Bill, we have an idea. Why don't we help these people get out of debt, not just settle the debt we have with them, but why don't we help them get out of all of their other debt? Why don't we help them find employment? Why don't we provide social services for these people? Why don't we do whatever it is they need and help them really and just lift them up? And it seemed like such a crazy idea when they first proposed it to me. It really did. And it was not my idea. It was my employees' idea. And we've begun to incorporate it, and it has been the most powerful thing we've ever done.
But you did take some of your own money, and you put it into creating a unit to help people find jobs or find better jobs. So you're not only helping them get out of debt, you're also helping them move up.
Well, and we did. I stuck about $6 million of my own money in to start it, because an idea like this can't be done on pocket change, and it can't be done with good wishes. It really takes, some gravitas. It takes some momentum. So we put in some serious money, as they would say, and then from that, we just grew it outward. And we're back in the very same building at CityPlex and having a great time.
Well, let's talk a little bit about CFS1. Those were difficult times when that fell apart, and then you had the trial. I mean, that had to be very, very difficult for you.
Oh, it was. It was probably the most challenging time one can imagine, when you're the 25th wealthiest person in America, and then you go to the 25th brokest person in America, and that's not a fun ride.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're on top, the life is good and you're smiling and you say, gee, isn't life wonderful? And then all of a sudden you cascade down to the very bottom, literally into bankruptcy and losing everything. It's a real challenging experience.
Yeah, but so you started CFS2 once you came through the trial and everything. You put your life back together, and you're in the same building. You said even some of the same cubicles were still there.
Yeah, well, with the same people. 75% of my current managers are my former managers from CFS1. 65% of my employees today are my former employees at CFS1. And that's really interesting, because there was a 14-year gap between these two companies.
Yeah, that really is remarkable. Okay, so nowadays, not only are you working to help people out, but you're changing the industry.
Yes.
And along with that, Larry Rice, the president of Rogers State, has submitted a nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, that's pretty high praise that someone would think that highly of you to recommend you for something like that.
Well, I thought it was like an April Fool's joke. I mean, honestly, let's be really, really seriously honest. Wow. What other word could describe that? Until I found out that Dennis Rodman might also be nominated. And then it was less wow. No, just kidding about it, but Dennis is in contention, so he thinks. No, but it isn't about me. It's about what we're trying to accomplish. And I say trying because we're not done yet. We want to do more than just help these people that we're coming in contact with, because we will come in contact with maybe 1 million people. There are 30 million Americans who are being chased by debt collectors right now. There are 10 million Americans who are going to get sued by debt collectors this year in 2013. We would like to do two things. We'd like to stop all 10 million of those lawsuits, because we and I'm a lawyer by education and training, we don't believe in suing people. At CFS1, we settled 4.5 million accounts without ever suing a customer one time. So we want to stop all lawsuits. We want debt collectors to be more responsible and to treat people more civilly. So we're passing laws around the country. I've now traveled all over the United States. I've met with all 50 attorneys general from each of the respective states. I've lobbied Congress. I've been to the White House making my presentation. I've been invited to the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And the good news is, we're beginning to make a difference. We're beginning to make a change where legislators around the country and in Congress and the regulators are now changing laws to make it harder for debt collectors. Now you say, well, Bill, you're a debt collector. Isn't that kind of masochistic? You're drawing in fire on your own position. Say, no, it really isn't, because we do it differently. We treat people with dignity and respect. We help them get out of all their other debts. We help them find employment. We literally provide social services. If one of our debt customers has a leaky roof or needs a hot water heater or a new wheelchair or food stamps or Medicaid or Social Security, we help them get it.
Bill Bartmann, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Russ.
Good luck with CFS 2.
Thank you.